Hello and welcome back to another University Deep Dive. Today we're looking at the MBA in real estate over at Southern Methodist University. We've got Nick Costanza and Blake Beckelman, is that right? With us. Awesome. Excited to have both of you and excited to learn more about your program. So Spencer, I'll kick it over to you.
Yeah, Nick and Blake, great to have you. I'm excited to talk about SMU and specifically real estate at SMU. I spent 5 years in Dallas. I was telling you guys offline, I was always a bit jealous of SMU grads because they have this embedded advantage, especially in the Texas markets. There's so many successful alums in real estate that came out of SMU, either at the undergraduate or graduate level. So excited to talk about this. Let's get started just to understand the structure of the program. Maybe Nick will have you kick it off. So when someone says that they're studying real estate at the master's in business administration level at SMU, what does that really mean?
Yeah.
And what's the structure of that?
Gotcha. Yeah. So essentially what it means is that in your first year in the spring, you will take kind of an intro course called real estate investments. And that kind of covers like the whole array of the real estate process. So you're learning about asset types, you're really learning how, like, what the underwriting process looks like from a nuts and bolts standpoint. And then you get into more of like the macroeconomic look of things and see like, how do we actually look at real estate as an investment vehicle? So it's pretty broad, but it actually ends with kind of 2 case-based final exams, if you will. And the class is taught only by Wally Boudry, who I know you're familiar with and is an awesome professor. And, I just, even as someone like myself who came into the program with a real estate background, still walked away with, a ton of new knowledge and felt like I really gained a lot from the course. So that's really your kickoff. And then in your second year, you take 4 elective courses. It's a real estate finance course, so really diving deep into the equity and debt side of things and looking more specifically into that. Then there's a real estate development course. So looking at the development process, what that actually looks like. And then to my understanding, since I haven't actually taken that one yet, you actually go through kind of a development pitch to where you're, coming up with pretty much everything. And then there's one final course, which is actually optional. You're not required to do it to get the real estate concentration, but a lot of people end up doing it anyway, is the real estate practicum, or what we're now going to be calling the real estate impact investment fund. So this is kind of a networking course, if you will, in that we get to meet a lot of people, go do a lot of cool tours. But on the flip side, and what it's kind of transitioning into this year under the tutelage of Joseph Cahoon, is an investment fund like you would see at lots of other schools like UT or Keenan Flagler at UNC, for example. So we're going to be, essentially placing LP money into all types of deals, but with the bend kind of being that a percentage of the fund has to go towards some sort of impactful investment. So we're really going to be targeting affordable housing and things like that.
That's fascinating. First off, shout out to Wally. So Wally Boudry, former professor of mine when I was at Cornell. Maybe I'm a bit biased, but I think he's one of the best, if not the best, real estate professor in the country. And one of the things that makes him phenomenal, I think this is emblematic of SMU's real estate program in general, is the practical approach to learning real estate. And that's key, right? We're a very kind of practical asset type. One of the reasons we all love real estate is because it's tangible. It's familiar because it's essentially where we live and work and shop and all that. And so you guys are very lucky to have Wally, and then Joseph Cahoon, know him as well, phenomenal director with a lot of great vision. Blake, as you look at your experience studying real estate at SMU, what is the profile and the dynamic of the cohort of real estate MBA students? What's that? How many people are studying real estate? Where are they coming from? What's their general kind of target post grad and so forth? Kind of give us an idea of the profile of a typical real estate student.
First, I'd like to double down on the professor thing real quick. Wally's an incredible professor. And then all of the programs are taught by really great people. Professor Evers is one of the best developers in Dallas, and he's working at day, teaching you develop at night. And then James Ray, who teaches the finance course, another incredible out there working and then teaching in his spare time. So the professors are top notch. So I just wanted to throw that out there too. And Professor Cahoon, he taught the real estate strategy class, and that was a really fun one as well. But
Yeah, great conference.
the cohort, I mean, I would say it's probably, for my class at least, was one of the biggest segments of people doing one individual thing. I mean, obviously, you always have people in an MBA program who are looking to do finance and consulting, but we probably had at least 15 to 20 people of a 200 person, or I think it was 200 people class, 150 to 200 people class, doing real estate. So that's a fairly large segment that is looking to go into real estate. And I would say it's probably a mixed background. I personally came from a corporate retail background, and there were quite a few classmates who came from other sort of, finance or whatever background and didn't have real estate experience and then wanted to jump into real estate. And then probably the other half had some real estate experience and we're just trying to get, a leg up in the career. But it's, I would say it's quite a diverse mix. I mean, you get a little bit of everything. And especially at SMU, because the real estate program is so built out, it's going to be a larger percentage of your class than probably if you want to go into anything else.
Yeah. And we'll come back to outcomes. I'll be interested to hear like where those students intend to go post. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to talk about outside the classroom opportunities to learn. So great professors, very practical way of learning this business. What sort of opportunities do you have to learn outside the classroom to engage with real estate professionals and so forth? Blake, maybe start with you.
Yeah, I mean, so the SMU network is wide open to you with an email and basically a flick of the wrist. I mean, everyone I reached out to talk to within the real estate world got back to me and was willing to have a coffee chat almost immediately. And so they really encourage that kind of alumni outreach. That's probably the first way. The second way is, I mean, there are a ton of internship opportunities. Everyone wants to talk about work. That's what you're going to school for. Some of my best learning experiences were through working for Specific Life in the summer of 2020 during the pandemic. I didn't get to go to beautiful Newport, unfortunately. Had to work remotely, but that, and then being able to come back the next year and do a internship with a small private equity group and get two completely different sides of the real estate business within 2 years. So I thought that was incredibly valuable. And thirdly, I'll just say that the real estate club does a really good job of putting together industry events in Dallas, and also, well, pre-COVID corporate treks. We went out to Los Angeles and got to meet a lot of SMU alums out in California and see some pretty cool projects. And so between those three things, it's a pretty wide variety of stuff that can keep you busy learning and interacting with the real estate world outside of your classwork.
Well, and what about leadership opportunities, Nick? So I'm hearing treks in the club, exciting internships, engaging with alumni. What if you want to take a leadership role? What opportunities exist there in real estate?
Yeah, well, so I'm actually serving as the president of the Graduate Real Estate Club for this upcoming school year. And we have 3 other positions. One is a VP of kind of alumni relations and like the social aspect, what Blake was talking about. Then we obviously have a treasurer and then kind of a VP of social media, if you will, someone who keeps up our LinkedIn pages, Instagram, etc. So those are 4 quick, easy ways from a leadership standpoint. I would say that, yes, we're obviously always encouraging people to get involved with Trek. The Young Guns program here in Dallas is awesome, and it is a great way to meet people doing all sorts of things in real estate who are not necessarily SMU people, just Dallas real estate professionals in general. And that's actually a great thing that comes with being a member of the real estate club, is that you get access actually through a small one-time fee to have memberships in Trek, in ULI, in NAOP. So I can't even tell you how many other kind of events I've gone to here in Dallas that, have nothing to do with SMU, but it's a fantastic speaker panel for a ULI meeting or something of that nature. So there's definitely ways to get involved, in the Dallas real estate sphere. And it doesn't have to just be through Folsom or SMU.
Let's talk a little bit about outcomes, leading on from that. Um, Maybe Nick, to you first. So what types of roles, what types of firms, where geographically are most students in the real estate concentration going or pursuing?
For sure. Yeah, I would say geographically, obviously Texas is the major point of interest for a lot of people. SMU's real estate alumni network is obviously very present, not only in Dallas but throughout Texas. So we have a lot of Houston kids, Austin people, San Antonio even. So I would say the vast majority of people are staying in Texas, whether it's Dallas or one of those three other markets. More and more I'm seeing people, take jobs in California. We also have a pretty big presence from there. Chicago is pretty heavily represented at SMU, and then Florida as well. So Texas definitely, runs the gambit, if you will. But I think SMU, it has a presence enough to where if you really wanted a job in, say, Atlanta, we have alumni there who are doing exciting things, and it's not impossible by any means.
Yeah. Well, Blake, what about career support from the campus, from SMU? What sort of career programs exist? Is there a career center? Are they helping with resume reviews? Talk us through what support you get there
Yeah,
in the
so
school.
the beauty of SMU is that you get the MBA program has its own career center that can help you with mock interviews, job preparation, really guides you through the path all the way from securing an internship, turning that into a full-time job, and then even negotiating your offer. But additionally, the real estate club and Professor Cahoon and Tasha do a really great job of providing job resources within the kind of Folsom Institute and within the club for both undergrad and graduates. And so I was able to go to events like resume reviews with a real estate alum from SMU, go to mock interviews specifically for real estate. They're sending out job postings monthly to both while you're in school and then also even continuing when you're out of school. So uh, the real estate professionals are really on top of it within SMU, keeping you up to date with job opportunities and I mean, there's more job opportunities being floated through to the club than there are people to fill them. So it's quite a good place to be as far as finding a job. And they kind of range the spectrum. If you want to go into acquisitions, asset management, development, brokerage, there's really stuff all over the place. So you kind of get to pick which avenue you want to focus on, and there are definitely opportunities there.
Yeah.
Anything, Nick, you'd add to that?
Yeah, I say springboarding off that, like Blake said, obviously people are kind of, figuring out what they want to do exactly in real estate. But the beautiful thing about SMU is that I feel like, we have the opportunity to place people kind of all over as far as, do they really see themselves doing development with a small shop of like 7 to 10 people, or do they really see themselves, doing acquisitions at CBRE on one of their investment platforms? I mean, we just have so many alumni that are doing all types of exciting things. And I feel like really, no matter what you wanted to do, the program was small enough to cater to your interests. And Folsom really takes an interest in, what you really want to do. And they try and do the best that they can to, link you up with people who might be hiring in that area or might need interns. And the beautiful thing about being in Dallas is that especially in your second year, things calm down a little bit from the class workload perspective. And a lot of people do stay on kind of as part-time interns and are able to keep gaining reps and gaining experience and keeping that, connection with the company that they hope to work for. So it's definitely an added advantage. And I would really say that, depending on what kind of experience you come in with, depends on kind of the post grad positions you'll be applying for. So even if you're someone with 3 years of experience but not necessarily in finance or real estate, you might have to go more of the analyst pathway. But obviously companies know that you're not an undergrad straight out of school, and it's usually a very accelerated kind of promotion platform or something like that. But I would say the vast majority of people are looking for associate level positions, and that ends up being the case. But if you're doing a whole, career 180, you might have to go the analyst route for like a year, but it's usually very understood that, both sides know that you didn't go to get your MBA just to be an analyst.
Yeah, right. Let me ask a two-pronged question. I'll let Blake answer one half of this and Nick in the other. There are a variety of options to study real estate at the graduate level in Texas, right? Between UT and A&M, particularly at the graduate level, and then of course SMU. So if I'm sitting in Dallas, I've got an analyst job, maybe in real estate, maybe I'm not in real estate, but and I'm looking to kind of take that next level, and I go, okay, what I really need is an MBA in real estate on my resume. Why SMU? Right. So maybe Blake, you answer that. Why SMU? And then Nick, for you, what could that individual do once they've decided, okay, yes, SMU is right for me? What are some keys to admission? Right. Maybe some hints, maybe some tips, some tricks. So Blake, we'll have you start with the why SMU, and then Nick, some tips for those looking to get admitted.
Yeah, so I'll kind of go with a little personal story here of why I chose SMU, and it can be for anyone who's looking to get into an MBA program, real estate or not. The depth of the SMU network, especially in the DFW area, is unmatched. If you want to be in Dallas, Texas, there is not a better place in the country to go to school for your MBA than SMU. And really the strength of that goes national, but Dallas is really, there is a SMU person behind every door. And so when I was looking at MBA programs, that was one of the biggest things I was looking at. I want to go somewhere where there is really strong ties, specifically in Texas for my case. And SMU is almost unmatched. I mean, I don't want to say like that you're going to, beat out Ivy League kids for jobs and stuff, but you have a really good fighting chance to go up against those kids with an SMU MBA degree in Dallas for any job you can want. And I think that's a pretty powerful thing.
Well, I can assure you in real estate, particularly, the pedigree matters a lot less. You bring the Ivy League concept up. It matters a lot less. Meritocracy is alive and well in real estate. Employers look for people who are well-trained and that have a network or potential for a great network. And so that makes a lot of sense. What about for you, Nick? The tips, tricks for those who are looking for admission?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'll just do a quick plug on why SMU. I mean, for me, what really stood out was just the intimate size. My class, they scaled back a lot. I think part of it was due to COVID, and second reason was kind of a rankings play, to be honest with you, a little more selective as far as test scores and things like that. But I mean, to me, it was just amazing that I hadn't even committed there. I had other options, and yet I was getting personal phone calls from Joseph Cahoon saying like why I should come to SMU. And I've, really seen that come to fruition throughout my time. It's just, there's 15 to 20 people studying real estate, and everyone I know that is studying real estate got a job that they're happy with or an internship that they're thrilled about. And I just really feel like the small size of the program really caters to what you specifically want to get out of it. And so that was, really important for me and kind of my quick why SMU. But as far as tips and tricks, I would definitely say get on, the admissions team radar early. Because SMU is a smaller program, I feel like showing a lot of genuine interest can really push the needle. They don't want to just admit everyone because obviously all schools are trying to play with, their yields and things like that. So I think a big thing is, explaining why you want to go to SMU early and really saying, like why you see yourself in, maybe DFW or Texas or, throughout the Southeast or Southwest. But I think that admissions really wants to know that you're interested, one. And then I know just in my experience from reaching out to Folsom and really trying to get a handle around, what the real estate program, means and encompasses and what all the perks that come with it. I feel like that gave me an advantage as well. Not only in the decision-making process, but I feel like behind closed doors, admissions is talking with everyone. So, if someone in Folsom is able to go by admissions office because they all work together and everyone offices right by each other. So, to be able to say that, oh yeah, I had a really great call with Tasha or Joseph the other week, and, they seem really interested, what can we do to entice them to come? Because it's always a two-way game, right? But yeah, I feel like just getting on people's radar early, showing genuine interest, continuing to have that conversation, and ultimately just being honest about where you're at and maybe what other options you have was really helpful for me specifically. And I felt like made me even more comfortable with my choice of SMU in the end.
Great answer. Well, to wrap it up, let me finish with this question. So both of you are now rising second years, correct?
I've already graduated.
Oh, Blake's graduated, even better. Perfect. And then Nick, you're moving on to your second year.
Yep.
As you guys look back to your experience studying real estate at SMU, is there one class, one event, one interview, whatever you have, is there one experience that had called an outsized effect on your career? Maybe Nick, we'll start with you and we'll have Blake have you give the last word.
For sure. Yeah, no, one thing comes to mind specifically, and it was in the fall of my first year, actually. So each semester, Folsom kind of puts on this alumni board dinner. As you're aware, we have a pretty extensive Folsom board member list, and they bring everyone together once a semester just to talk about real estate. They usually panel 2 or 3 people, and just a great networking event, a way to, meet SMU alums and just people who are doing really cool real estate work here in Dallas. But from that event this past fall, we actually got to listen to Bob Faith speak, the CEO of Greystar, founder and CEO of Greystar. And it was just awesome because, what other time are you going to be able to sit in a room with Bob Faith? And I literally walked up to him after and, shook his hand and said, thanks for coming, really appreciated you taking the time to speak to all of us today. And, he was like, yeah, here's my contact card. Like, reach out to me in the future. Like, it's just crazy to think that somebody like that would come give SMU, the time of day when, he didn't go here. Like, he's not an SMU guy or anything, but yeah, it's just amazing to me, and hearing kind of his story, just because I wasn't super familiar with it at the time, really inspired me and, made me feel like and walk away from that thinking, like I could do that maybe someday too. So yeah, I would say that's probably the coolest thing that's happened to me in the program so far.
Excellent. Blake?
Yeah, so I'd say probably the most impactful for me was the one-on-one opportunities with Joseph Cahoon. For anyone looking to go into the program, he is your number one resource. Maybe having the most connected real estate person in Dallas as your head of real estate is pretty valuable. And not only that, he's a great counselor of kind of helping you find what you actually want to do. As someone who wasn't in real estate before and wanted to get into real estate, he helped kind of guide my decision-making process and connect me with about 1 million different people in 1 million different walks of real estate. And it really shaped how I've gotten my career started and how my career is going to go for the future. So I think that's been the most impactful thing, is just the ability to go in, bounce your ideas off of, one of the most connected people in Dallas real estate world, and then walk out with 10 different people that you need to go talk to learn more. So.
Excellent. Well, Blake and Nick, appreciate you guys. Great profile of SMU's MBA in real estate program. And with that, we'll turn it back to Sam to wrap us up.
Yes, thank you, Spencer. Yeah, we'd like to thank Blake and Nick for joining us here today. And to our readers and viewers, thank you for taking the time to watch this deep dive interview, and the best of luck to you and to your adventure in commercial real estate.